2.6 has only one set of new information, this point-slope formula. We're used to using the slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b, okay? We're used to using this. We used it when we looked at the data in 2.5 where we were looking at the population growth, okay? Now I'm going to use 2 points that we already were given, 10, 151, and 20, 170. You had to figure that one out in 4A or 4B, okay? So looking at these points, I'm going to use them to find the slope-intercept form. But I'm going to use the point-slope form to get there, okay? So the point-slope form is pretty simple. You have this y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, okay? Well, the x1 comma y1 is a coordinate. Okay? So in other words, it's either the 10, 151 or the 20, 170. Okay? So we have found the rate of change for these. So let's just go through the motion. Let's find the slope again. Remember, we're using delta y over delta x. So that means we go 170 minus 151 over 20 minus 10, because that's the information we're given. Okay? And we found this to be 19 over 10. That was our constant type thing, right? We found that every time we used the data points they gave us, okay, for our predictions. So now we're going to put this in this formula. So y minus y1 equals 19 over 10, that's my m, times x minus x1. Where do we get the y1 and x1? Well, pick one of your points. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and use the first one, 10, 151. It doesn't matter which one you use. You should get the same thing. Okay? So I'm going to use 10, 151 for my x and y. So y minus 151 equals 19 over 10 times x minus 10. Okay? Now I get to distribute. Good old algebra. Okay? So y minus 151 equals 19 over 10x minus 19 over 10 times 10. Okay? So 19 over 10. This 10 and this 10 cancel out, leaving 19. Now I need to move my 151 by adding. So y equals 19 over 10x plus 132. That's the same equation we should have gotten in 4A for 2.5. Okay? So that's how you can use the point-slope formula to get to the slope-intercept form. Not very difficult to do. But how do we know that lines are the same? Well, let's look at this. Okay? Take our known points. And let's put them both into the slope-intercept form, or the point-slope form. So y minus 151 equals, we know we have 1910 for our slope, times x minus 10. Okay? We already solved this one, so I'm just going to do it real quick. Okay? So that's one we did on the previous page. Now let's look at this one. Y minus 170 equals 19 over 10 times x minus 20. Okay? Again, we get to distribute. Okay? So y minus 170 equals 19 over 10x minus 19 over 10 times 20. Okay? 10 goes into 10 once, 10 goes into 20 twice. So we are looking at y minus 170 equals 19 over 10x minus 38. Okay? So add my 170. So y equals 19 over 10x plus 132. Okay? So I can tell by putting my points into the point-slope formula and solving for y to the slope-intercept form that my points are on the same exact line. Okay? Nothing else new or different. It just is another way of determining what your line equation is. Okay? Your linear function. So that's all there is to that. Okay? Now, make sure that if you're not going to be here on the day that we are doing the regression information for football, that you watch that video on what you need to do to collect your data, and then a second video on what you need to do to make your regression line. Okay, so look for those two videos if you're not going to be in class.